Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Let's get ready to rumble! Seattle's got to make a stop. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to throw it back to Goff! Who had that on the bingo card? Touchdown Lions!
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Main Event. We are talking about football, specifically Detroit Lions football, on July 14th. You know what that means? It means you guys are diehards. You're sitting here watching a program about football. I'm here talking about football in the middle of July. That means you are my people. You are diehards just like me. You are invested in this 365-day-a-year product that the NFL is putting out. That even in the midst of July, 2 weeks before training camp even breaks, we are here talking about football. The NFL's made it that way, made it interesting. There's nothing but baseball right now. And even though those Detroit Tigers are in first place with the best record in the American League, it pales in comparison to the product that the NFL has built and put together here for us. We are 55 days away from kickoff of the regular season for the Detroit Lions, when the Lions will travel to the Lambeau Litter Box in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That game will be September the 7th at 4:25 p.m. on CBS, 55 days from now. In the meantime, there are 4 preseason games and 2 joint practices. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to have some special guests tonight as well. We appreciate everyone who's watching on the live, or if you're watching on the rebroadcast, please put your comment in. Hit that like button. If you don't know, that's how it works. You hit the like button, the heart button, an emoji, and that gives us a feather in our hat with Facebook. We are broadcasting live into the Huddle Sports Network on Roku TV. Big thanks to Bill the Packer fan and all the boys over there. We are also broadcasting live into the 360 Radio Network. You can go to 360radionetwork.com and check out some awesome playlists, music playing 24 hours a day. You can even custom request songs. You keep the app on your phone, and it's better than Spotify or Pandora or any of that. You can custom build it. You can also listen to my music on there, so that makes it better. Just search the 99. The 360 Radio Network also letting me broadcast live. Thank you to Adam and the boys over there as well. We're also broadcasting live into our own Facebook page. It's called The Main Event. Please get on over to the page and follow the page. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. Overnight, we lost a lot of followers, but we're back and we're scratching and clawing and going to try to get this thing back on the rails in time for the regular season with your help. Be sure to put it in the comments. I want to hear. Let's see who's here today. Ken Ballwright just dropped in and hit the like button. Thank you, sir. You are a gentleman, and we appreciate you. Davey, good evening, One Pride. Oh, Sarah's in the house. Howdy, Mike. What's up, Sarah? I hope you stick around, Sarah, because we are going to talk about your Minnesota Vikings today, too. I know this is a Detroit Lions show in a way, but we still cover the NFC North. We still cover all of the NFL, in fact. Ricky in the house. Go Blue, Ricky. Broski Bear. We're also going to talk about those Chicago Bears. Broski, thanks for being in the chat. Put your comment in. We want to know what you think. We want to hear from you on any of the topics that we talk about. But right now, the topic that I'm going to talk about is the quarterback series on Netflix. If you haven't seen it yet, get it done. The first one was great. The follow-up with receiver was great. Now season 2 of quarterback, just as good. I think just as good. Only this time it features Jared Goff. It also has Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow. And if you have seen it, chime in for me in the comments. Please tell me, what did you like? What didn't you like? Give me something to talk about. My biggest takeaway from it was that we had to, through the Goff storyline, we had to relive the painful loss to the Commanders in Ford Field. And the gut wrench that had finally started to go away was all rekindled last night as I watched the final episode. And I realized that Jared Goff is a bad man. Okay? This guy can motivate the people around him. He raises the level of the people around him. You can say what you want. He's not mobile. Oh, we need a Lamar Jackson type. You can say whatever you want. But the thing that makes great players great is their ability to raise the level of play of those around them. And he 100% has that. Dan Campbell's known it from the beginning. Brad Holmes has known it since 2018, that this guy is a gamer and this guy is a leader of men. And when you watch the quarterback series, it just drives it home. Man, Joe Burrow is amazing. Don't get me wrong. On the field, Joe Burrow is amazing. But he has a real quiet leadership. He basically has the personality of a stone. I mean, I can see why he basically hangs out with his parents most of the time. He just doesn't have that pro leadership grit to him. When you're watching this series anyway, that doesn't come out. Kirk Cousins, while an incredible human being, a super nice man, you can tell, he also doesn't seem to have that killer desire that we see from our quarterback. Watching this series, folks, makes you appreciate Jared Goff more. Not just because it reminds you that, oh yeah, he won 15 games last year with half a defense. Oh yeah, he went 8-0 on the road. Do you think that's easy, folks? To win 8 road games in a season in the NFL? I don't care what division you're playing. It's extremely hard. It's hard to win in the NFL. It's even harder to win on the road. It's even harder to win on the road when you're carrying the best record in the league and a target on your back. And this team did it. And there was a moment that I had to relive last night as well. And that was the moment that people aren't really talking about, haven't really talked about. The moment when Lions fans took a gasp and thought, oh, we might not win this game. It came early in the first quarter. It was the second defensive play of the game. Little out route. Amik Robertson wraps up the receiver at the sideline, and here comes Jack Campbell barreling in. Friendly fire with a helmet. Breaks Amik Robertson's humerus, but it wasn't funny. See what I did there? It's humorous, funny. Broke his arm. And Lions fans let out a collective gasp. Now what? We're already hanging by a thread. Terrion Arnold is a rookie. He's holding his own out there. But we've already lost Carlton Davis to a broken jaw. What are we going to do? Kindle Vildor? And when Amik Robertson went out, that's when it started to creep in for Lions fans. Wow. I mean, for them to win this game would be a miracle now. Let's face it, folks. The Lions scored 31 points in that game. They didn't have no problem scoring on Washington. It was the defense not being able to stop Jaden Daniels, not being able to stop the Washington offense. We still got a couple of great safeties back there. Jack Campbell played great, but we're missing too many pieces on defense to be competitive with a team like that. Now, you can call that an excuse, whatever you want. The point is, we have our quarterback, Jared Goff. Jared, Michael, Thomas, Allen, Goff. He's the quarterback for this team. Like it or leave it. If you want him to be more mobile, I'm sorry, I can't fix that for you. But his teammates love him. This town loves him. And he's a gamer. And he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. And he's also one of the best against the blitz, which is what you need in this division specifically. We do have some special guests that are on the show tonight. And we're going to bring them in just 1 second. Before we do that, we're going to talk about the Hall of Fame game, which is coming up on the 31st of July. It is 8 p.m. on Peacock on NBC. It's streaming service Peacock. From Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame game, the first preseason game of the year for the NFL. let's face it, this game isn't going to mean a thing. I don't think we will see even a second stringer in the game. Dan Campbell's been very open about how he feels about preseason games. And this one I expect will be even further to the extreme where he just does not want to risk any kind of injury. But still, there'll be Lions football with pads on playing in just a couple of weeks. And that is super exciting to me. Let's see who we got in the chat. Broski says, shout out, Main Event Mike. As Sarah, still in there, says, I only saw Kirk feels regretful for leaving us. He did. I'm so glad he pointed that out. In the series, quarterback, him and his wife, Julie Cousins, you can see they really are lamenting the friends that they lost in Minnesota, the people that they left. One of their children was born there. And it really is, you could see it was tugging on their heartstrings when they had to go back and play with Kirk Cousins back in US Bank Stadium. So definitely that was an interesting part of the show for me. Broski says, maybe we'll get to see our new Tesla in the preseason game, in the Hall of Fame game. Yeah, I couldn't see why a rookie, they wouldn't be playing the rookies. They might be playing the rookies. But that's coming up in a couple of weeks. But after that, you've got Lions at those same Atlanta Falcons on Friday, August 8th. That's 7 p.m. game. Again, preseason game. Dan Campbell's already said that joint practices to him are way more beneficial than preseason games. He could do without them. We're going to have a member of the NFL Players Association on the show here soon, and I'm going to ask him about that, about 18-game schedule that's looming on the horizon. It's not a matter of if at this point. It's a matter of when. And on this program a year ago, we were telling you the same thing. 18 games is coming. Goodell has already slipped it out there several times to set the foundation to start building on this to get 18 games. The question then becomes, what do you do with these preseason games? Do you still keep all these preseasons? I will imagine that the NFLPA will have to throw in some sort of counter and say, well, we don't want to play all these preseason games. Or, I mean, that's got to be part of it, right? That's got to be part of the bargaining chip. But 4 preseason games for the Lions this year. The next one will be at Miami, August the 16th. That's a Saturday at 1 p.m. These games not streaming anywhere, these preseason games that I could find. They'll only be on local broadcasts, it looks like. That Miami team will also have a joint practice with the Lions down in South Beach. That will be interesting. That follows up with the final the final preseason game. I'm sorry, it's not in South Beach. The Dolphins come here to Detroit. I'm sorry. The Dolphins come here to Detroit, and they'll have joint practices here in Allen Park. Houston will then be at Detroit. The Texans, Saturday, August 23rd at 1 p.m. Also a joint practice will happen with that game as well. So the Dolphins and the Texans having joint practices, it brings up the question to me, will the NFL start broadcasting these joint practices? Many coaches say they get much better work out of these than they do the preseason. And would people watch it? I think they would. This 365-day a year model that the NFL has built, we eat it up. Anything you put out there. For God's sake, we watch the combine, the draft, the pre-draft selection. What city's going to be the draft? The schedule release. The schedule release used to be a blip. Now it's a full-on event. Why not televise these joint practices? At least you get to see the ones. You get to see the starters play. I can imagine that wouldn't be too far off. That might be part of the concession when they go to an 18-game schedule. Oh, yeah, we're going to do away with the preseason, but we're going to televise the joint practices on Amazon Prime for only $12.99. Yeah. Couldn't you see it happening? Put it in the comments. I want to hear what you got to say. John Dorn in the house. What's up, John? He always says, go, Pack, go. I say, go where? To the basement? Packers, Lions, week 1. It's going to be amazing. I love that the scheduler makers gave us Lambeau week 1. I want to go to Lambeau in September, not December. You got to play them anyway. They're in your division. You got to play them at home. Why not week 1? So there, I've given you a whole bunch. Put it in the comments. I want to hear you react to all those things I said. Right now, we're going to bring in our special guests. Joining us first is the real deal, Darcy Mobile, Detroit Darcy from Detroit Lions News.
And we got John Dorn watching here. Like, man, I can't wait.
We have John Dorn in the comment.
I can't wait for week one. After that game, all these Packer fans are all going to be zip, zip, zip.
Yeah. And joining Darcy Mobile is also former NFL wide receiver Mark Schmidt, former Detroit Lion wide receiver Mark Schmidt. Mark, how are you today? Great to see you.
Good, Mike. Good to see you again, and good to be back on the airwaves with you. And you're going to say where we're at right now, right?
I am. I'm about to do that right now. So Darcy and Mark are joining us as a special occasion happening right now. It is Jeff Chadwick, former NFL, former Detroit Lions wide receiver, runs a football camp every year. And this year he's got Lomas Brown, Corey Schlesinger, and others, including Mark Schmidt and Jeff Chadwick, Scott Conover, Jimmy Williams, Ross Weaver, James Harrell, Bruce McNorton. We've got a whole list of former NFL players that are doing a football camp. It's called Legends Football Camp. It's running in Clare, Michigan right now, and it'll run again tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. If you have, or anyone you know is up near the Clare area, and you have some young people that are interested in football that are maybe grades 2nd through 10th grade, this football camp is for them. They're going to get special treatment, some special exposure to former NFL players, and the kind of coaching and insights that they can't get from their middle school coach. And they're going to get drills, and they're going to learn skills, and they're going to get some free giveaways too, as part of the package for going up and signing up your kid for the Legends Football Camp in Clare, Michigan over the next 3 days. Mark, tell me what I missed.
Well, no, you really didn't miss much. It's an interesting venue for it because we're in a rural area, and there's 10 former NFL players, Legends players that come up here every year. This is my first year with it, Mike, and Jeff Chadwick, who I obviously played with and know very well. He's the catalyst behind this and behind running this camp, and with Kristen, and they do a great job. But he was in a position where he wanted to start to oversee it in year number 6 now, and he needed a wide receivers coach. I get the call. So anyway, which is great, and I wanted to help out, and but a lot of players coming from all over the place. That list of players, and we're in this, the central part of Michigan, the high-end central part of Michigan, this is a town of 3,200 people, so it's a small town, but it's kind of neat. It's an interesting venue. When you get players like this together, you're usually in a big city, right? So it's a whole different genre altogether, which is kind of neat. It's the middle of summer. It's relaxed. And, it's just kind of chill out, but still be able to coach some football, to teach some football. And another thing, which we were talking prior to going on the show, is we're working with youth, with youth of Michigan. And so you're dealing with some younger kids, 7-year-olds till 14, 15-year-olds. So you have to modify things from your coaching aspect, and you have to kind of you got to keep certain things simple and certain things a little bit more fun, and you got to keep their attention, right?
Right. And Darcy, I wanted to ask you as well. You said this is the 6th year mark, right? Is there a website or something that people could maybe go to and check out? Is it Legends Football or something like that?
There it is. It's Jeff Chadwick at Legends Football Camp, but they have a Facebook page. We're broadcasting live to Facebook. Just type in Legends Football Camp, and they have a page of 3.2K, and that has all the information, Jeff's email, Kristen's phone number, and they're available, right? They'll answer the phone all the time. But I just want to say, this is the first time I've ever been up here. I've been to Lansing before, but I went to the Walmart in Mount Pleasant, and I didn't realize Central Michigan was there. And I went in the Walmart and go Chippewas everywhere. This is a football community, I tell you. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. To piggyback that, Mike, the field that we're on, which we're tomorrow is
Pioneers.
Pioneer. It was listed as one of the top 5 artificial turf fields in the state of Michigan.
Wow.
So anyway, that's in other words, they got us working on it. They gave us a really good venue to work on. with the young kids. But yeah, it's rated way up there. So I'm looking forward to that. I have not seen the field yet. The players are coming in tonight. We're all staying at a local hotel in the vicinity, which I can't mention. But they're all coming in, and it's awesome. They're coming in from all over the place. So. Right. Again, a whole different genre, a whole different, with the young kids, rural area, relaxed setting, but still football, right? So
it is. It's a great opportunity for young players up in that area, and there are a lot. Right down the road is Ithaca, that's won multiple Michigan State championships, right? And then Mount Pleasant team last year was 8-0. So. I'm telling you, they love their football. Big crowds at every high school game up there. They love football. It's like a little Texas up there. They just love it. And this is a really great opportunity. And that's why I wanted to bring up the website. It's Jeff Chadwick's Legends Football Camp on Facebook. If this was not enough notice for you, I'm sure it's going to be back next year, right, Darcy?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm hoping you could come along too and help out with the podcasting.
I definitely want to come along. I wish I would have known sooner. I would have put it in my schedule. I have some friends up there. In fact, if you guys are going out, the Evening Post is a little spot in town. There's a big chicken out front, out on the sidewalk, giant chicken. And that's because they have the best fried chicken dinners in the world. This side of Frankenmuth for sure. You got to try it. And they got the world's greatest bartender there as well at the Evening Post. Great to have you guys. Don't go anywhere. I still want to come back to you and talk about this football camp, but I've got a special guest I've had in the back, and I want to bring him on right now. From the Kneecap Biting with Jeremy B. Please welcome to the stage, Jeremy B. What's up, Smoking Jeremy B?
How you doing, Mike, Darcy, and Mark? Good to see everybody again.
Glad to see you, Jeremy. So, wanted to bring you in on this conversation here about there's this football camp going on up in Clare. For the next couple of days, Jeremy, do you think maybe we could get a flyer on your pages and maybe promote this for the people up in Clare?
Absolutely. Get me a picture of the flyer, and I'll post it in the community chat of my channel. I'll also post it on my Facebook page.
Nice. There you go. I mean, that's guaranteed 12 people going to see that. So,
what are you talking about? You know there's 1,800 on my page.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We are broadcasting live to Joe's page, too. I shared it there.
Very cool. We're also broadcasting live into the Motor City Kneecap Biters on YouTube and on Facebook. So big thanks to you, Jeremy, for letting us broadcast the show in there. Jeremy, did you watch the quarterback series yet on Netflix?
I haven't watched it, but I've read all the articles, and I read today an article came out about it where McVay threw Goff under the bus with that trade, because the Friday before the trade, he's like, Goff is our guy. He's not going anywhere because we just signed him last year.
Yeah, they all say that, right? I really would like for you to watch it, Jeremy, so that I can get your takeaways from it. Not just what you read in an article, but how it impacted you, because it did impact me in some really crazy ways last night as I'm sitting there reliving the gut wrench. Maybe I just take things too hard, but it really renewed my faith in Jared Goff. It renewed my faith in this team, and I was interested to know if you had seen it. Mark Schmidt, have you seen the series?
I haven't. I saw the previews for it, Mike, but I have not had a chance to see it. I know that the reviews are very, very good. I'm anxious to see it. But I will when I want to catch this for sure. They're promoting the hell out of it. So
yeah. Well, I wrapped it up last night, and it is Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, and Jared Goff are the featured athletes on there, and it's really good. Let's see what we got in the comments. John Dorn's asking about the Legends football camp. He says, "What are they teaching them? Fool's gold lions?" like the two old guys from the Muppet Show up in the balcony.
Oh, I love those.
John Dorn heckling us from afar. John Dorn says these old Lions football players teaching these kids how to not win a ring.
That is awesome. I love that guy already.
Awesome. Steve is in the house. He is also a Green Bay Packer fan. We got some Green Bay Packer fans in here. This is why I really am so happy that the first game of the year is in Lambeau Field. Let's just get it right out of the way. I mean, who do you think wants this one more? Mark Schmidt, you think the Packers want this one more, or do you think the Lions are going to want this one more?
Well, I think the Lions will want this one more, and I agree with you. Get it out of the way early in the season with Green Bay. There was something that came up, and I say this to Coach. I know this is a NFC North show, and it was the Super Bowl 2 years ago, Mike. I wanted to tell you this, and out in Las Vegas, and there was a round table there. Devlin, the kid from the Patriots, was there. There were a bunch of NFL players around the table, probably 12 of us, and we were all talking. And this has to do with the Green Bay Packers. And the consensus was, as we got into this discussion of coaches and Dan Campbell and things that were going on in Chicago at the time, which were not good, with Eberflus and so forth. And we were talking about like who's really the best coach. And the consensus around that table, and there were guys that were 35 to 65, and the consensus is that Matt LaFleur could pretty much coach anybody to the playoffs. That guy was one of the top 3 or 4 coaches in the league. That's just from former players. That's just kind of in conversation there. And we weren't even really talking about the Green Bay Packers. We just kind of got onto it. And I think it was Devlin, the kid who played for Belichick for all 8 years, and the fullback. And he said that guy could coach you and me right now to the playoffs. So I think Green Bay's a good team no matter what, just because of LaFleur. I think Love got his contract based on 6 good games. I think that was premature on that contract. That's my own opinion. I think you kind of agreed with that, Mike, when we talked about it. But Detroit's going up there. I think it's an interesting way to open the season. Green Bay will be ready, but I think Detroit's just got too much talent. It's going to be interesting to see how well Hutch does on defense. And I would think Detroit would pull that game out, but it's going to be a struggle. And that LaFleur guy, love him or hate him, that guy can flat out coach.
There's no doubt about that. He's listed on every list.
Yeah, listed on every list is one of the best. So
we just lost Mike.
Oh, well, we keep rolling. We keep rolling.
The other thing I saw is that you realize that this year is the weirdest year for signings for rookies in the NFL right now.
Yeah, it's I think there's been problems in Cincinnati. There's been problems in Detroit getting guys. You're back, Mike.
I am back. I want to see guys on what you said there. I don't know what happened. Sorry, guys.
We're talking about
always on the top 5 list of play callers in the NFL. Tough kid from right down the road here. He's actually from where you're at right now. He's from Michigan and went to school at Saginaw Valley right up the road from where I'm at.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow. Jeremy,
thanks for holding it down. What did you have to say, sir?
This year is the weirdest year for rookie signings ever. We still got a first-round pick in Shamor Stewart that it's holding out from the Bengals, and only 2 second-round picks in the entire NFL are signed right now. That's Jaden Higgins of the Texans, and then I think his name was Cheswick is the other one, and I can't remember what team he played.
Schlesinger from the Cleveland Browns.
Schlesinger. So that's it. That's the only 2 signed in the second round.
Yeah, that's right, and that was something that was on my list to talk to, and I think I'll just skip down to it right now since you've segued me in so nicely. What are these Cleveland Browns doing, right? They keep setting precedents. They set the precedent with the Deshaun Watson contract, and the owners dug their heels in and said, we are not going to let this become the standard. And they got some pushback and accused of collusion as a result of that. But kudos to them for sticking together and saying, no, this is ridiculous. $260 million guaranteed. And now that becomes the benchmark, and we just got to keep doing this over and over. It's getting out of control. So then they do the same thing with Myles Garrett. When the highest paid defensive end is at $30 million, why not give him 32? No, you got to go to 40? You blow it out of the water by $10 million? Because he made it completely clear he wanted out. Until you put 40 million up there. That's like, oh, no, that's fine. I love it here. Love it. So they do that. And now Aiden Hutchinson, Micah Parsons, all these other defensive ends are like, well, if that's what he's getting, TJ Watt's going to demand at least that much. So again, they reset the market, and you don't see these edge rushers being paid yet. Trey Hendrickson, for example. None of them under contract because they're still dealing with the fallout from what Cleveland has done with the Myles Garrett contract. And now here we are in July and they do it again. They sign a fully guaranteed contract to their second round pick. And now to Jeremy's point, 30 of 32 second round picks are not signed as we're about to head into training camp. Thanks a lot, Cleveland.
And on top of that, I read also that if none of them signed by Wednesday, none of them can attend training camp. Not a single one of those second round picks.
Unbelievable. Quinshon Judkins still in jail as of this morning, as far as I know. Running back selection by the Browns, and he was a second rounder. So now what are you going to do? You just gave this other guy a fully guaranteed contract for second round. Maybe Judkins is a third rounder. I might be mistaken on that, but they've got issues there, and they don't seem to care about you or the fans or anyone else and how it affects it. They're going to do what they're going to do. And they just keep making life harder for the other NFL owners. And it really needs to be called out. And I'll be the one to do it, doggone it. Steve in the comments says, the big question is the Lions have somewhat of a new offensive line. Is it going to hold up? And Darcy, we'll kick this one over to you. Do the Lions with Mahogany and the new rookies, Frazier and Ratledge, Glasgow, is that enough on the interior line for this season for you?
Well, we definitely have enough. Let's just see if Hank can get them all coached up. I do believe he's one of the best offensive gurus in this league, other than Paul Alexander. But this is why they picked him. This is why we have so much depth.
Well, to Steve's point, that is the big question. Will that offensive line hold up? It has to do more than hold up, Steve. This is the cornerstone of this team. This team was built on the strength of this offensive line. And I don't care what anyone says, the loss of Frank Ragnow can't be overstated.
No.
You're talking about the center, the quarterback, and the play caller. Those three need to be in lockstep. The Lions have lost two of those three. That is going to affect your team and the way your offense runs. I'm sorry. It just
is. It is, and it's one of the things that will too. And then the change of 6 coaches, Mike. That's heavy, and that's what you have with success in this league. And 6 guys have moved on, and I think you probably even more so than those adjustments and changes and retirements on the offensive line is the change of the 6 coaches. That's what's going to be hard to duplicate, the great record they had last year because of the change in coaching staff. The personnel is still pretty much there. I mean, we know that. Defensively, they're still going to be, be pretty strong. They're a good, solid football team all the way around, even without Frank Ragnow. And then there's new guys come in. You're going to want guys to perform. Isaac Tesla, they'd like him to probably get, some of the new guys need to start coming up and starting to play more, and some of the young guys. And Jameis Williams, that's a broken record. We need him to have an 80 reception season. I don't think that'll happen. I think he's a 40 to 45 reception guy. I think he averages 18 or 19 yards a catch. But who's your go-to guy? It's St. Brown, really, Patrick. But and of course your tight end. But it's they're a solid football team. But Coach Darcy over here reminded me we had 3 Thursday night games. And I know, Mike, you wanted to get into scheduling here, and I got a new position with the NFL Players Association. But the 3 games on Thursdays, that's a tough gig. That's a tough gig, regardless of what other else is going on in your schedule. And you and I talked about it before we came on the show.
Well, we have 2 short 4-day games, right? The Thanksgiving as usual.
Right, and there is one stretch there where it goes from Thursday to Thursday. We have 2
Thursday. That's a Dallas. That's a Dallas.
Yes,
go ahead, Jeremy. What do you got on that?
That was what I was going to talk about. The Thursday night game, as far as the Thursday game, because we're not doing the early game for a change. It's later. And then the next week we do that Thursday night game. And I think the other Thursday night game is against Philly, right?
Yeah.
Before we go to play the Giants.
Yeah. So I mean, the scheduling is, it is what it is. And then when you're good, you're getting, those national games that are on Thursday nights, obviously, and now the NFL is playing on Christmas, which they've never done before. And that was always a no-no with the NFL playing on Christmas. Now they're doing that. So it takes you're constantly, you know, in a different type of schedule, and that can affect you. Believe me, from the inside out.
No, I do
let's
believe we
not
play,
forget that Week 18 is still to be determined. Whether or not Chicago is going to be good in Week 18, the NFL schedule makers are waiting to deliver a date for that game, and it could be flexed and moved who knows where. So right now it's Thursday night games. Week 13 is Thanksgiving against Green Bay, and then the following week at home against Dallas, and then they play, like you say, on Christmas, which is a Thursday, at Minnesota. So definitely, but JB, I want to hear your thoughts on the offensive line. Do we have enough on the interior? Glasgow, Ratledge, Frazier, Mahogany, Awasika. Those are your interior offensive line. Is that enough?
Let's not forget that we've got the UDFA from last year that actually did play a few snaps when he was backing up Glasgow last year in Kingsley Eguakun. So we still have him too. So we have depth at the center, and this offseason, 78% of the snaps with the first string offense was played by Tate Ratledge. So they are trying to groom him to see if he can be a center. So literally, Campbell said the way he played, it's his job to lose right now. He's not automatically handing it to Glasgow. He's going to probably let Ratledge as a rookie play all preseason and judge how he does and make his decision during that off week.
Yeah.
But is that enough? To Steve's point, will it hold up?
Well, why not? Because look at all the times when Ragnow was out, Glasgow was in, Goff had to call the protection.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I don't know. I think certain people will step up. I just said something about the coaches, but the tradition that they've kind of created here in the last couple of years is in place, and the mindset is in place. Your head man is still there. So it's about people. It's the same basic group. I mean, Ragnow's a big loss. There's no question, but it's a talented football team. If they do nothing with, if the coaches don't benefit them at all, they're still in a 10 or 11 win team. I believe that just based on talent alone. Darcy and I go out and coach them, I think, to 10 or 11 wins. I think that team is that talented. But can they get over the hump? And that's obviously what everybody needs for this happening, because this window, I live in the Buffalo area, okay? And that window, that Super Bowl window in Buffalo, okay?
It's starting to close
It's starting to close. Darcy's been up there with me. He's checked out the new stadium, the $2.5 billion stadium. And Detroit does not want to get to that year. They're basically in year 3 of real success now. You start to get into year 6 like Buffalo, and we got that going on. That's just the nature of the beast.
Josh Allen is a different common denominator. It's not the common denominator here, though. I mean, Josh Allen is the X factor that keeps a stick in that window at all times.
Yeah, no question. But the defense is suspect a little here and there. Okay, they've had some suspect things, and they need certain players like Russo to really step up. They need Matt Milano to become the old Matt Milano. They need some of these corners to, Douglas is gone. Some of these corners need to step up a little bit, and safeties. So defensively, they're a real question mark right now. Josh Allen's going to move the football. They scored more points, I think, than anybody last year in the regular season. But making the analogy between Buffalo and Detroit, which by the way would be a great Super Bowl. For the whole nation.
What everyone wants.
Yeah. It would be, you don't want to see that window just start to disintegrate here, and that's why they got to really get it done this year or next. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you go down the list, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Dane Jackson. None of those guys are there anymore.
Tre'Davious White.
White, Damar Hamlin. None of those guys are there anymore. And as good as Josh Allen is, if you are just too deficient in one area, a good team is going to expose you in that area. So they really got some work to do there.
That's it. And then I'll tell you what the talk is real quickly to make an analogy. Again, I'm in the AFC East of where I live. People are already saying Aaron Glenn, who played in New York for so many years, was a great player there. He's already turning heads. The New York Jets are going to be a lot better just because just because he shows up on the sideline. I really believe he has that kind of a difference on the football team. So now you got the Jets who are better. New England's going to be a hell of a lot. You got Vrabel there, and he's had a year to put it together. Yeah. Great. I'm telling you, that AFC East, everybody thinks Buffalo's just going to waltz to it. I don't know. That New England team is going to be a lot better. I said 2 lots there, lot better. Okay, the Jets are going to be better and Miami is still a talented group. So Buffalo's going to get pushed pretty hard here. And
but everything comes down to quarterback play, Mark. Yeah. You know that, and they undoubtedly have the best quarterback in the division. And then, can Tua stay healthy? His name might as well be Tua. Can he stay healthy? Tagovailoa, because you can't have a conversation about Tua without saying those words. It seems like so. When he is healthy, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Of course, they got Tyreek and Waddle on the ends, but they stunk on defense last year. Absolutely stunk, and they stunk on the offensive line. So while they can keep it close, sure, New England, up and down the roster, don't have enough firepower up and down the roster. That is Buffalo's division to win for an 8th time in a row, in my opinion. It's the biggest no-brainer as we look around the league and try to predict who's going to win the divisions for sure.
I think they'll win the division. I just think it's going to be tougher than what people think. I think New England wins 9 or 10 games next year. I really do. I know that's crazy. I think they win 9 or 10 games. Just hold me to that. Mike, you've held me to some things before on the show, and I've been right more than once.
Yep.
So, come on.
Except you did say that Ole Miss was going to beat Bama. I think what that was. Now just pull. I got a memory, buddy.
You got to listen to this. You got to listen to this real quickly. Greatest comment from a student from the SEC, and it was after the Kentucky game. I talked to you because I was in Mississippi and did your show. We played Kentucky, and the students have all their comments after the game. So the comment went like this, and I quote: "1/3 of my tuition is going to Mississippi coaches, and we can't even beat fucking Kentucky." So my daughter's a rebel. So
Who else we got here?
This is Gary Howell Payton. Is that how you say it? Pat.
Gary Howell Patton. Pleased to meet you, Gary Howell Patton. I can tell by that shirt and hat you're a man of high character.
His kids are also going to Legends football camp.
Steve was I was with you, Steve, until you got delusional on me here. He's got the Packers with 12 wins, the Vikings with 11, Bears with 9, and the Lions with 8. He has the Lions finishing behind the Bears. Steve,
can I say something?
Go ahead, Darcy.
I got the Lions going 12-5. I got the Bears going 10-7. And then I have the Vikings going 9-8, and then I have your Green Bay Packers slappies 7-10.
Oh my! I don't think I agree with those numbers. I think this is
they only won 1 game in the division.
And they're going to cannibalize each other and keep their records down. I don't think you're going to see the Lions sweep the division again like they did. They're going to cannibalize each other and go 3-3 in the division, and that's going to keep their win totals down around 10-11, and it's going to come down to week 18 to who wins this division.
Well, the reason why Darcy's got a problem with Green Bay is because they haven't won in the division last year. They only won 1 game in the division. That's why he harps on this.
The one game they won.
I hang out with them all the time. You know how much shit I hear about the Packers and this blah, 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 blah. They're still a good football team.
They're a very good football team. But I do have an issue, and Steve, I'm glad you're here. We also got Go Pack Go all day in the chat. It says, what's your biggest concern with the Lions this upcoming season? Well, Go Pack, I want to talk about your team right quick because I was looking at a stat since 2018. Do you know how many wide receivers you've drafted? It's insane. It's like 12 wide receivers. You can name them: Dontavian Wicks, Toure, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, all of these guys, and they haven't worked out. None of those guys are a number one. What makes you think that Savion now and Matthew Golden in the first round is going to be much different? The guy was the 4th receiver taken. He's 5'11". I don't see why you guys are so over the moon excited. Okay, he was a solid pick, You upgraded the wide receiver room, but by picking him, you have to now admit that Christian Watson was a miss. He was the 34th overall selected wide receiver. He was the 34th overall wide receiver. If he was a hit, you wouldn't have needed to take Matthew Golden this year.
Oh, you're right.
I got you though. Guess what?
You keep on doing the same things, expecting a different result. Go ahead, JB.
Only 2 players have missed more time than Christian Watson over the last 3 years, and 2 of them are on Detroit. Josh Pascal and Marcus Davenport.
Oh, Davenport,
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, he just hasn't been healthy, and he's not reliable when he's not healthy. He's a receiver, and I disagree with you on this, Mike. I think he can be a number 1 if he's healthy. I do disagree with you there a little bit, but
okay.
But he's not. He's not.
Okay, but 7 straight years with 12 different players you've brought in at the position, and you still don't have a solidified core of wide receivers in that room. It's a constant. You hear this all the time. Green Bay doesn't have a number 1. They have like 3 number 2s. Well, that's not how traditionally these rosters are built, right? You know that, Mark. You've got your X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And they've not been able to put that formula together with a core group of 12 guys. They haven't been able to figure it out. Now they come back and draft 2 wide receivers out of the first 3 picks. Why do you think you're going to get a different result this time?
Well, they're hoping these new kids will develop. Yeah, they're hoping these new kids will develop differently and so forth. And that's where Detroit, you have to have stability, and that's where Detroit with St. Brown and with Laporta and what James Williams has been able to do, and Patrick. I mean, they're solid. They're solid where Green Bay is not at those positions, and that's what's given Detroit that edge. Green Bay is still a good team, decent team in the interior lines. The quarterback, again, we talked about that earlier, premature money, in my opinion, but he's good. He's a good football player. He's not great. And they're well coached, and I won't back off of that. I'm not a huge Packer fan, but they are well coached. And that's what kind of gets them even on the field right now with a team as talented as the Lions are, is that Green Bay is well coached. And that's why they'll keep it close. They don't have LaFleur, they're screwed. That's my opinion.
No, and the Green Bay, you have to admire the organization, the way they draft and develop over the years, not just the quarterbacks, which is what gets all the press, but they draft and develop defensive players as well and offensive line players. So, definitely a class act organization in that respect. But this is the Lions division, back-to-back years, and we're going to come out of the gate week 1. JB, you think we win in Lambeau week 1?
Go ahead and look in your overlays. I added one for you.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is. Is that it?
That's it.
Lambeau Field is under new ownership, Full Speed North. Okay.
All right. 3 in a row there? 3 in a row there?
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell only lost once there. So it's right?
Yeah, so it's 3 in a row we've won there. 2022, 2023, and 2024.
Yeah, we lost the first one. But I wanted to ask, Mark, by the way, you're watching the Main Event football show on the Huddle Sports Network, Roku TV, and on the Main Event and the Kneecap Biters on YouTube. And we are here with JB from the Motor City Kneecap Biters and Detroit Darcy from Detroit Lions News, Gary Howell-Patton, and also former Detroit Lions wide receiver Mark Schmidt, who is the NFLPA ranking member of the Buffalo chapter. And I wanted to ask you some questions here. Where are my notes? Okay, here we are. I wanted to ask you some questions, Mark, specifically as it relates to your position with the NFL Players Association.
Yeah.
And I know you have to be careful about what you say, but is there a lot of chatter about the 18 games coming? And more specifically, the collective bargaining agreement isn't set to be renewed until 2030. And do you think the 18-game schedule will wait until 2030 before something gets done on it?
Yeah, I think it's going to wait until 2030 until something gets done. I mean, the chatter inside. I'm an officer, obviously, with the PA now, which I really enjoy, and I've been able to help a lot of former players out in their journeys after football. But the 18-game schedule, it's not going to happen. I thought going to 17 was a little too much, and so did a lot of other people. 18 is kind of insane to me, especially with the Thursday night games and all that. So, I would like to see it go back to 16. That's not going to happen. Money dictates. But 18 will wait until 2030, in my opinion. So it's going to stay 17 for quite some time now.
And do you think that when they do go to 18, it's like I said, I don't believe it's a matter of if, it's when. When they do go to 18 games, do you think there will be a change to the preseason schedule to kind of compensate?
I could compensate. I know what you're saying, Mike. I don't see that happening. Coaches in this league want those 4 games. It allows them to really assess the talent. 2 games, it's just not enough. I don't see that 4 game from everything that I've seen, and I've seen a lot, especially in the last 6 months as to this conversation. That 4 game schedule is going to stay that way. That's just my opinion. They don't want to change it. The present coaching staff don't want to change it. The owners do not want to change it. And now there's obviously a lot of TV with the preseason, which obviously brings in money. That's part of the contract. It's not just the regular season; it's the preseason. And people are watching football. We talked about it before. No matter what we do, we're watching the combine, okay? And we're spending hours watching that. So, that assessment period needs to be 4 games, in my opinion. One thing that they've done well in the last 2 years, they were starting camp on the 30th, 31st, some of it August 1st. Now they've moved it back. We are starting this year on the 16th. I started back 30-some years ago on the 16th of July. That's good. That's good. They've actually moved things up 2 weeks or a week and a half, basically, for most teams. And they got it back to the 16th, which is when we opened, back in the late 80s, early 90s. So that's great, and that needs to start back. To answer your question, Mike, I don't see that. I don't think they want to lose that. 2 is just not enough. 3 is not a possibility because it's an odd number and it's just odd to see. It's not. It's either 2 or 4, and I think it's going to stay 4. That's what I think. And something to keep in mind is that they do sell those preseason tickets at the same face value as the regular season games, and we as fans flock there even for the preseason. Yeah. So why would they get rid of that cash cow that's coming in at face value at the regular season ticket price? Yeah. JB, want to get your thoughts on the 18 game schedule that's probably coming? We know Goodell wants it.
I know
the preseason will suffer from it.
I don't think so, because I think they were talking about doing a second bye week rather than removing a preseason game. And I think it's because they're already down to 3 regular preseason games. The 4th one is just if you get the Hall of Fame game. So I think it's going to sit with that schedule as it is, but maybe have one stationary middle of the 9th week where the trade deadline is. Have that be a bye week. So guys have a chance to transition into the team, and then the floating, rotating bye week throughout the division.
I like it. I've actually heard lots of different variations of this too, almost like a baseball model where there's a Pro Bowl break, like an All-Star break, where everyone gets a bye week, and then they do Pro Bowl and try to make that somewhat interesting, like they've been trying for years to try to spice that up and make us give a crap about it. So that's one that I heard. I also heard that they would add a bye week. So now you would have 18 games in 19 weeks instead of 17 games in 18 weeks. And what that does is pushes the Super Bowl back to President's Day weekend. So now everyone has a holiday, a national holiday on the day after the Super Bowl. And this is what Goodell's grand plan is to maximize that tourist money, that TV revenue, that holiday weekend money, get all eyes on it, because as you all know, attention is the new product in this world today. And I appreciate everyone giving me their attention today. It is July 14th, and if you are here watching football, know that I appreciate you. You are my people. You're that invested in this product called the NFL, just like I am, and I love talking about it, and I love having guests on like you guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Be sure if you're around the Northern Michigan area at all that you check out the Legends Football Camp. You can go to Jeff Chadwick Legends Football Camp on Facebook and sign your kid up for next year if you can't get them in this year. But they will be going tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday in Clare, Michigan with former NFL players Mark Schmidt, Lomas Brown, and others. Detroit Darcy, Gary Howell-Patton will be there as well. So thanks, guys, for being on the show. God bless you, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go on.
JB, I want to keep you on for right quick.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man? 18 games is coming, JB.
Yeah,
And
I've been predicting
let's
it
just
before
pause
they
for
said it.
a second. Let's just pause for a second. How do you think it would be ideal?
I still think that's the ideal version for the trade deadline because that's where most of the trades happening. That way, you don't have somebody that's going to sit out a week like we had last year with Zadarius Smith. They can sit there and transition, get with the playbook, get with the coaches, have practices for 2 weeks in a row, and be ready to rip and ready to rock. Then you have the rotating bye week, which means 8 teams are going to end up with 2 bye weeks in a row.
Right. And you know that they want to expand the international footprint of the league as well. So maybe they'll use the 18-game schedule to also mix in an international trip for every team or some,
Right.
they'll do something to work the international game into it as well. But I thought it was interesting that Mark Schmidt said that he did not believe it was going to get done before the next CBA in 2030, brother. That's 5 more years from now. I just see this train picking up so much steam that I just can't see it waiting. But hey, he's a lot closer to it than you and I are.
I say at the earliest, it'll be the 2027-28 season 2 years from now. That would be at the earliest.
That would
And they all-
require a lot, though. That would require a lot for them to reconvene the players and the owners and everybody for a CBA. And there's always a 2-year ramp up. Once, like 2030 is when it's set, but they'll start in 28 ramping up to that to make sure that they're ready on that date.
The other thing is, yes, we'd probably have to add a total of 10 more players to the roster, expand the regular roster to 60 and make the rest of them practice squad to have more bodies for rotational purposes for injury.
God, that's such a great point, JB. I never thought of that aspect of it. That you think 18 games is hard, but you've only got 53 men. Expand that number of men you've got to work with to make it less hard on them. I love that. That's the first time I've actually heard that aspect of it.
And the other thing I think is going to go with the CBA to keep the preseason games where they're at is make that a regular game check versus this flat preseason where they make $500 to $1,000 a game. Because they charge the same price as a regular season game. Shouldn't the players be paid the same as a regular season game?
I like this comment from John. It's hard enough to keep a healthy quarterback in 17 games. You better have 2 very good quarterbacks on that roster. Such a great call out.
Right. And that's why when everybody talks about, oh, we need to get rid of Hooker, and I hear it all the time. And I sit there and goes, man, he's got 3 years in here. He showed progression in the preseason. Yes, they didn't use him in the regular season, but they said they were molding him to be the best backup quarterback in the NFL. That came right out of Dan Campbell's mouth. And so I don't think that's a thing where the only way he's going to get traded is if he totally bombs out this preseason. If he's not throwing at that average 65% completion percentage and that 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, then you might see him get moved.
Joseph Osden obviously has heard of it. He says more games without an expanded roster is a recipe for injury. This is an aspect that I've never heard of, an expanded roster to kind of mitigate the wear and tear of that extra game.
Right. I mean, you're not talking about a lot.
Some guy named Ken Ballreich says, no way I would pay season price for a preseason ticket. Not all teams do. Not all teams do. There was an owner back in the day who wouldn't charge anything for preseason. It was always free. I can't remember who that was.
Wasn't that the Browns before they moved to Baltimore?
I don't think so. I can't remember who it was, but there was an owner that would not charge anything for preseason games because the product was so subpar. He didn't think you should be able to charge for it at all. But the NFL, some teams do charge face value for those preseason games. And here's another aspect of that. Preseason is a chance for a lot of kids to go and see the game. We're running out of time. I got to let you go, JB. Where can everybody watch your show next?
Of course, every day at noon, Monday through Friday, Kneecap Biting with the Motor City Lions, except this Wednesday because I have to go into work early. Because I work at Brandon's here in Flint.
I got to go.
All right. Thanks,
Jeremy. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great day. We'll see you next week. One Pride.
Yeah, yo, it's game time, ain't no messing around. Huddle Sports Network, the best in town. From NFL rumors to the latest trends, we got all your sports, just tune in, my friends. Catch us on Roku.